a good thing for the non-oil producing countries, so a good thing for the rest of the Caribbean, not so good for Trinidad and Tobago. Oil has been the bane of the Caribbean for many years, ever since OPEC raised their prices in the 1970s to prices that made it almost impossible for manufacturing companies to survive in the Caribbean because the cost of electricity became so high. But of course it went beyond manufacturing. In the end it went into things like tourism, and now that the Caribbean countries are for the most part dependent upon tourism, high oil prices didn't do the region any good. It made the cost of tourism to the Caribbean extremely expensive and put us in a non-competitive position. The fact that oil prices are going down now gives that industry an opportunity, a breathing space in which to try to rectify itself, retool, invest in the things they need to invest in. Of course, it gives manufacturing a better chance too. The Jamaicans, for instance, will be delighted because they will be spending less on oil and can invest more in manufacturing. And they may at last become more competitive with Trinidad and Tobago, not only in the Caribbean market, but in the US market as well. So a good thing for those countries that are non-oil producers and that have been importers for such a long time, not a good thing for you. I am not a subscriber to the view that the Petrocaribe arrangement with Venezuela is now finished. Don't believe that for a minute. I think the Venezuelans can sustain Petrocaribe as long as oil prices don't reach $40. When it reaches $40, they're in trouble. But up until that point, I think they can continue Petrocaribe. And you have to remember that Petrocaribe is not a gift. People have an idea that Petrocaribe is Venezuela giving away oil. It's not. The Caribbean countries that are in Petrocaribe are buying oil at lower prices. The only difference is that when the price was between $8 and $100, they paid 40% of the price up front. So Venezuela got that money in cash. And 60% of it was a long-term loan, which still has to be repaid. Now with the prices below $80, that formula has been reversed. The countries are now paying 60% of the price up front, so Venezuela is getting that money, and 40% goes into a loan. But had it not been for Petrocaribe over the last 5 years, I don't know how those countries would have survived, because the price of oil and gas was so high they just could not manage. They had serious budgetary and fiscal deficits. They needed a break from that oil price, and Venezuela gave it. It was a lifeline. So I think the countries of the Caribbean will have to be eternally grateful to Hugo Chavez and his successor Nicolas Maduro for giving them that lifeline. I think the thing can still last if the price does not fall to $40 and below. It may have to be modified somewhat, but I doubt that the Venezuelans are anxious to close it, and I don't think the Caribbean would like to see it close either, because there is no alternative.